Let's get into this. This is the first time me doing a live stream. I've been performing a lot in my life, whether it's music or dance. But yeah, I want to get started with the first thing, which is music. It's kind of like giving a little bit my take on music. And my music name, my stage name, artist name is Black Forest. The reason why I have that is because I'm coming from the Black Forest in Germany. Represent, yeah. Um, a small little city called Freiburg, and this is kind of like where I learned walking, and I learned talking and thinking and dancing and music and creating stuff, working, collaborating. This is where I basically that provided me everything that brings me to this day to day, and kind of also want to say thank you to all the people that I met alongside the way, um, that helped me shaping me, becoming me, and helping me create whatever the fuck I'm creating. So, my take on music is I don't want to show you too much about like my setup. I have a little bit of stuff here, but my take on music is music creates different moods, and that's my thought about that. I was like try to make something valuable to you is making you understand what makes music so special, because we have all these different types of musics. We have workout music. We have music when we focus. We have want to focus when we're studying. We have music when we want to relax or meditate. We have music when we want to dance or party. And what is it that creates these different moods? And for me, how I understand it, there's this book out there. I don't know who read it. I read like the first 10 pages because I suck at reading. Um, but it says, this is your brain on music. And one thing he's tried to describe within there is um, music, the different moods within music is based on frequencies. The main frequency within music is there, of course, there's hertz, which and decibel is kind of like the loudness, but what I'd like to focus on is BPM, is the beats per minute, which means like how fast is something going. Like lower BPM is something on a low pace. The higher you go, more fast paced it is. And what you're being able to do with that by tuning into these different frequencies and these different tempi is that you being able to create different moods. So for example, when you go to a lower frequency, like around 60 till 70 BPM, there's a lot of guitar music and piano music, acoustic music, classical music, swings in that lower BPM range. And that creates like this mood of melancholia, melancholy, sadness, um, makes you sometimes more thoughtful. It helps a lot of people. For example, a lot of people listen to more calm music when they need to study or need to calm down. And the higher you go, for example, like around, oh, okay, there's one more thing. The thing is like when you being able to listen too long to for example, a certain state, like for example, you find yourself in the lower frequency range, like BPM, 60, 70 BPM, is it, how do you say that? It connects with sometimes the mood that you find yourself in. So we turn to different types of music in order to maybe even uplift or like amplify the mood that we're currently in. For example, when I'm sad, I'm not going to listen to hardcore heavy rock unless I want to get out of it. So in order to when I'm sad or when I want to calm down or when I dance, I listen to a certain type of music. Um, the problem is when you listen too long to something that is depressive and like sad, not necessarily depressive, but sad, you swing in the same frequency over and over and over again. Uh, and in order to get out, you have to kind of think of like, how do I being able to shift my focus, and therefore like tapping into different music styles is a really interesting key to get yourself out of that. Like this, like okay, shit. I'm been to a really stressful period of my life, and I really feel down. And I listen to this really like kind of like calm, sadly melancholia, indie pop music. but I want to get out of it. I would like to get going, so I maybe turn into hip hop, funk music, rock, and they all swing in a higher BPM range, which is around like 90 to 100, 110 BPM. And you already see it's like within funk music, it's more uplifting. This is more like something that's like people want to start dancing to. People want to start get grooving to, and also you see that in the messages that people have within that. It's just like get up onto that dance floor, and it's like it's already a higher pace. And if you then take it even a notch up, like you go to around like 120 BPM, where there's a lot of house, techno swings in, even to a higher ranges like 140 BPM, where you have like things like drum and bass, and go on, get even higher, is the frequency is getting higher. So also you have to understand what makes frequency frequency. It's like, well, how does it interfere with you as a human being? Is that everybody noticed that when you're in a big concert and you stand in front of a huge ass speaker, the vibration that comes from the speaker, you feel it in your entire body. And these vibrations that send these sound waves, they enter your body and they stimulate you. They stimulate everything in your body, but mainly it stimulates your heart frequency, your pulse, because you will notice that your pulse will sync to that. Your body will start moving a little faster, and therefore also your heartbeat will dial up. So music is a really interesting way to dive into your, how do you say, the rhythm of your heart. You want to be lower or you want to get higher. For example, when you're in techno and house and trance, it can bring people into the state of euphoria. Just music alone can bring them into the state of euphoria, and can then even put it in a state of trance without drugs, without everything. It's just the diving into music and let that kind of enter your body. So with that in mind, I always try to have a certain approach to my music to create a certain mood, to have an impact on the people who want to listen to my music. So in my music, I try to be a lot of uplifting and inspiring and motivating, and talking about difficult things, talking about things that I think is important to bring awareness to. I'm going to talk a little bit later about that when it comes to Tiny Planet, but as a musician, you have the ability to shape the mood of an entire, if you're playing a concert, and of the entire audience. You being able to shape music for people when they listen at home, when they socialize by themselves. There's music for all different types of gatherings, and by understanding that, the question that I always have is like, what do I want from other people enjoy from my music or take away from? Where do I want to take them? What environment do I want to create? And there's two different drivers, main drivers. There's many different drivers to start a musical process. There's two main drivers for me. One is I kind of like said is like having sort of like a concept, something that I want to follow up to, in a way of there's something I want to talk about, or there's something I would try to portray or bring awareness on, or a story I would like to tell, and then making the music according to, oh, okay, I want to talk about, I don't know, saving the planet. What music do I want to create with that? What red thread do I want to set through that in order to achieve the best possible outcome as possible? And the other kind of like driver for me making music is starting with just the rhythm. So it's like, for example, I have a piano and I can't read notes, not at all, like a little bit. But it never really stopped me from getting into it. So what I just have my ear, and I have these keys, and I try to find something, and I try to memorize that. And it's also maybe giving a little bit of an understanding for the people who want to maybe start with music but don't know where to start. It's like there's so many different ways to tap into your musical journey, and it can be, you don't have to be learning all the notes at first. There is benefits in learning notes, and you will being able to take your music to a completely different level if you understand that. But it's not needed. You being able to just, we have with the technological advances that we have in today's age, I have a huge ass sound library on just this computer. It's like thousands of sounds, and I'm being able to upload it on this, to being able to play drums or this on my MPC, load a piano sound or a guitar sound, a bass sound, a trumpet sound, everything in here, and being able to be my own one-man band. And you can start wherever and whenever you want to start with that. And to kind of like take a little bit like your scarcity away. I started off this little baby here is following me around for since I'm 16. I bought it on eBay, and I want to kind of give a little shout out to my mom. Today is Mother's Day, and without this amazing woman, that allowed me to invest in all the things that I have in order to create my art, in order to spread out my message, or to express the things that I have inside of me, by allowing me and supporting me so much as she did. I wouldn't be here, and I wouldn't have had made all these experiences, and all this equipment is really expensive. Like partly I pay for it myself and work many different jobs, but also like there is so much support and help that I have from this woman. So mom, and to all mothers in the world, thank you so much. Um, Quick shout out. Yeah, I started with this one when I was 16, and I haven't really started till I kind of got out of high school, like when I was 18, 19, to tap more into music. So I had this MPC, so it's like for me to produce beats. And then to that, I had like a small um, little MIDI keyboard, like super shitty MIDI keyboard, to just play some sounds. And that was it. And with that, I was making music for so long. I'm making music on the software is called Machina. So this, all of these things, they come from this brand called Native Instruments. I really like them. They're a German brand. A little solidarity to that. And what I love about that is that all of these gadgets, they communicate with each other. So if I have a sound that is here, I also being able to have that in the same moment over here and being able to play it kind of like as keys. I'm being able to browse here what is playing here. I'm being able to have the filters that I control here, but also can control them here. And they all run over the same software. And I kind of dived into that because I wanted to ease down my workflow over the time. So I started editing things to it. Now I have these things. This one died on me, like my machine. I had that for now almost 10 years. It just died on me like 3 weeks ago. Power socket went out. If Native Instruments watching this, I could need some sponsoring. Send me out some new MK3. Yeah, but what I want to say is I met a lot of musicians in my life. Nobody's using Machine. Nobody. Maybe as a plugin, and usually people play with Ableton or Cubase or Logic or these things. But I started with this, and it served me. And all of my music that I'm doing with it, I started with that, even though nobody else is using it. Or like there is people using it, but like not the people that I know. Is find your way, like where you want to start, and you being able to build something with it. And that's kind of like also my take on most of the things that I'm going to talk about today. We're going to dive a little bit into dance in a second. We're going to dive into filmmaking. Is problem solving. Like for me, creative processes are nothing much but problem solving. You find creative processes in so many different ways, and it's always about, I have an idea, I would like to achieve something, I don't know how to get there, and not being limited by your resources, but using the resources that you have and have that little bit of creative mind in there in order to make what the fuck you ever want to make. So, I'm gonna switch now to talk a little bit about dance. That was a little bit my take on music. Um, Again, my name is Black Forest. You find that under Instagram at msvb_Black Forest. It has a Danish It's kind of like me being in Denmark for the last 1.5 years. It's kind of like my connection with that. Also looks cool.